So this is it. Buongiorno and welcome to the podcast My Way of Thinking, or MWOT for short, by me, Lee Greeno, here live from the Man Cave every week. Hope you're doing well. This is Dennis. He doesn't talk much, but Dennis knows who we've got coming on today, and trust me, he is a very special guest. It is a world exclusive. This has took me over a year to get this interview with this man, and it's not surprising because it's the one, the only Mr. Santa Claus. I'll be asking him all the questions you wanted to ask, some that you might not know that come in, try and catch him out a little bit, and it's just going to be a great interview. You're going to learn so much about Mr. Claus and what he's up to for Christmas Day. So make sure you keep on listening in, just enjoy it and look forward to Christmas because it's going to be awesome. And next year is going to be awesome when we've got rid of this terrible disease and we're all better and everyone's safe, and it's going to be awesome. So we're all positive and looking forward to things. So make sure you have a great time over Christmas. But first of all, let's speak to the big man. Let's see if we can get over to Lapland and Santa Claus. Okay, so welcome everybody to My Way of Thinking. This is a world. I'll get my mic because I don't want to. This is a world exclusive. I don't know if you've seen the advert going around, but this is live. And what I had to do to get this interview, you wouldn't believe. I had to go through lots of protocol. There's lots of special forces making sure that and soldiers and security to get hold of this guy. I had to get it signed off by the Prime Minister. Lots of things to go through because this guy is the one and only, and he's a very special man. But I told you we'd do it, and we've done it. And I'd like to welcome you to the one, the only, Mr. Santa Claus. Santa?
Oh, hello. How are you?
I can't believe you're asleep. Well, saying that, Santa, I can understand you must be very tired.
I'm very tired, so I like to get a few sleeps when I can, because obviously we're all very busy. To be fair, the elves are busier than me at the moment, but I'm busy on Christmas Eve. But just so it's Lee, isn't it?
It is me.
Just a minute, hang on. I just before I talk to you, because obviously I've never spoken to you before, I'm just going to check in my book and just see.
Oh no.
Oh yes. I remember you now. You were actually quite naughty when you were 11.
Well, I can't believe it.
Yeah, you were. You wanted that bicycle for Christmas, but you came good, and in the end, you were good. So you got the bicycle, which I think that you fell off a couple of times, but you were actually okay with it. So well, that's good.
I think I got the bicycle. I think I got the bicycle when I was 18, Santa. So does that mean I was naughty up until 18?
Well, it might have done. You know, I bought it when you were 11. What your parents did after that is entirely up to you, but was always up to them. But yeah, I'm sure we bought you one. In my records, that's what it says.
Right,
but,
okay.
It goes, yeah.
Right, yeah. Now, thanks ever so much for coming on today to My Way of Thinking, Santa. As you know, this was really hard work to get you on because I know you don't do a lot of interviews. You're very busy this time of year. And like you say, you're sleeping now because I guess you were burning through the calories.
Oh, yeah. So many. We have thousands every day. But still, there's still, I'm still quite, I'm still quite portly, which I need to be, obviously.
Reserves.
Yeah, you've got to have reserves. You've got to have reserves anyway. And obviously because I'm quite old, it's okay for me to be like that.
Excellent stuff. Well, look, thanks ever so much for having me on. Now, we're going to really get stuck into what you're all about and everything you're going to get up to because the big day is only, not long away now. But I always, when I do the interview, I always like to start with some fun facts. And obviously, knowing you live in Lapland, I thought it'd be good to ask you a couple of questions about Lapland and see if they're true. Because what I tend to do is that when I interview people, I'll look at good old Google, and sometimes the facts are complete rubbish. So today,
I always believe Google.
So let's see if they are true or false. Now, Lapland, tell me if this is true or false. Now, the Sami people are the indigenous people of Lapland who have inhabited the Arctic for at least 5,000 years. They've got their own language, which is known to have 100 different words for snow, and they wear red and blue felt clothing. Is that correct?
That's absolutely true.
Oh,
Yeah, that's very true.
are they nice people?
They're lovely people. Yeah. I mean, all the words for snow, I don't know why they've got all those words for snow. I can't tell you that, but they absolutely have. But then there is a lot of snow there. So, you know, you can understand why, I suppose. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're lovely people.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good to know. Now, the next fact I've got for you, for 73 days each year, the sun doesn't set and is visible all day. In June, Lapland is referred to as the land of midnight sun, and you can expect 21 to 24 hours of daylight. Is that correct?
That's absolutely true as well. Yeah, and it's lovely. The sun shines. It's still quite cold sometimes, but the sun's shining, and it's nice to have sunshine. But of course, then you don't know when it's bedtime. You know, it's better come Christmas for me and for the children. They know when it's bedtime, and they know they have to go to bed early when I'm coming to see them, and they have to be good. You know, so yeah.
What's that like trying to sleep, Santa? Have you got like blackout curtains? Because I know when it's light outside, I really struggle to sleep.
Well, the thing is, obviously, in our cabins that we live in, we only have very small windows because the cold comes in through the windows. So they're made of wood, which is a great insulator. Yeah. And of course, so it's not too bad. We can cover the windows and we sleep okay, really. But to be fair, the elves are working all year making presents. So, you know, they're working lots of hours every day, you know.
Now, you're not causing them to do slave labour, are you, Santa?
Oh, no. They have all their proper rests and their meal breaks and everything else.
Oh, excellent stuff. Now, this is a great one. The number of reindeer in Lapland is equal to the number of people. This is why there can be reindeer traffic jams on the road. Is that correct?
That's absolutely true, yeah. That's absolutely true. There are so many reindeer. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful because they don't kick. They're lovely, lovely animals. They're really so gentle, you know, which is why we have them pull the sleigh, obviously, because they're such gentle animals, you know.
And how do you pick your reindeers? Are they is there like a reindeer school, or do you look for the best ones?
We feed them up, obviously, before Christmas so that they're big and strong so that they can do what they've got to do. We look and pick, and the strongest ones, those are the ones we pick. So there are all the famous ones that everybody knows, Donner and Blitz and, you know, Prancer and Dancer and Rudolph. But there are others as well because obviously they have a lot of work to do. And we pick the strongest ones and that's it, you know.
Oh, brilliant. Now, here's an interesting one. Lapland's top cheese is known as Finnish squeaky cheese. It's like halloumi, and it's typically made from cow's milk, but can also come from goat and reindeer milk, and it's baked into a pie shape and cut in wedges. Is that true?
Yeah, because reindeer milk makes great cheese.
Does it?
It makes lovely cheese, yeah. Well, just like halloumi's a lovely cheese. It's a softer cheese and it's really nice. So, yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
Do you eat too?
You've done your research.
I have.
Yeah,
do you eat too much cheese, Santa?
I eat a lot of cheese, but there's a lot of fat in cheese. So nowadays we have to be very careful not to eat too much. You know, it's but I do eat a lot of cheese. I like cheese.
Does Mrs. Claus tell you off if you eat too much?
She does tell me off, yeah. She tells me off a bit over eating the wrong things, but I think for most men out there, that's potentially a problem. But to be fair, Mrs. Claus is right. We have to be careful about what we eat, don't we?
We do.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting one. In Lapland, the sale of liquor is strictly regulated and can only be purchased in special shops. In Finland, they're called alko beer. Alco. Beer, on the other hand, is widely sold in supermarkets. Now, this is an interesting one for me because some people leave you alcohol to when you come to the houses. Do
Yeah.
you still have a tipple, or are you careful, Santa?
Well, really, generally, it's only on Christmas Eve that I drink it because lots of people leave it for me, and it would be bad manners not to drink and eat it, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't drink an incredible amount, but I do now and again. I'll have a little drink just to keep you warm, and it's nice when you're an adult to be drinking, you know. So it's it's okay.
But you have to be careful when you're in charge of the sleigh. Obviously, I would guess you've got to be careful what you drink.
Oh yeah. Oh, the few days before Christmas Eve, I don't have anything at all. We're getting ready. We're loading up. Obviously, we're so busy. We wouldn't have time to sit and eat and drink. Well, we eat, but not to drink it. Because generally drinking is a social thing. We're not social. We're very, very busy. The elves are running around. Even now, they're running around like maniacs trying to get ready.
I don't know how you do it. Right, and then the last one. Now, this is an interesting one. Speeding tickets in Lapland are income-based. So a millionaire got caught speeding and was once charged £120,000. Is that right?
It was, yeah. It absolutely was, yeah.
Wow.
There was a lot of trouble over it at the time. But if you earn a lot of money, they charge you according to your income. So if you want to speed, it's better if you haven't got a job and you've got no money, and then you don't have to pay a fine. But we don't speed on the sleigh. The sleigh doesn't speed. That's fairly slow.
And have you got like a special license for your sleigh that sort of, because you're obviously in the air?
Because once we're taken off, once we're in the air, nobody can catch us anyway. Obviously the magic of us going faster than the speed of sound. Nobody could us anyway. But but when we're on the ground, obviously we abide by the speed limits.
Definitely.
So yeah.
So they were all true then, Santa. Got them all right.
You got everyone right. You've done your research very well. You see, so from being a naughty boy at 11, you've turned into quite a good boy now. Now that you're 21, those 10 years have made a big difference to you.
Yeah, now I'm 21. Hopefully I'll get what I want this Christmas. Excellent. Right, let's get into the questions then. And before I start, I always ask a little bit about growing up. Now, obviously, you've been around for a long time. What was growing up like, Santa, for you?
Well, it was good, really. Obviously, I don't know. I'm over 1,700 years old, so I can't really remember that much about being a child. Yeah. And we've always, my family have always bought presents for children going right back historically. So growing up was good. It was nice. My father was really nice, because he did the job before me. Yeah. And I took over the family business, so to speak, and we've just carried on.
When you were younger, did your dad, did he get you like wrapping the presents and things like that with the elves, or?
I had to help. Yeah, I had to start at the bottom and work my way up. So I started with the elves right at the bottom, and used to be wrapping. They used to give me all the horrible jobs because it was my father. But that was fine. It was okay. And I did all the horrible jobs and then slowly worked my way up. And then eventually I got the job, and here I am.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
When you said you got the horrible jobs, what are the worst things to wrap? Can you remember what was really horrible things to wrap?
Oh, well, footballs are really hard.
Yeah.
Bottles are difficult, but not that hard. But footballs are very hard to wrap. Really, I think they might be one of the worst things to ever wrap.
I can imagine.
And if someone out there, a young entrepreneur, could invent some sort of circular wrapping paper that a football would go in, I think that we would all be very, very grateful for that.
Well, I'll put the shout out on social media and see if we can get someone to do that for you.
Yeah, that would be good, yeah.
Excellent. Right, now, obviously, I want to talk, got lots of questions for you, but one big thing about this year is COVID. And of course, it's been a bit of a nightmare for everybody. How's it affected you, Santa?
Well, it's affected us slightly because, I mean, obviously up on the, up in Lapland, up in the North Pole, it hasn't been too bad for us because we're just our own little community there.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really affected us greatly, but I know for a lot of people, it's affected them a lot. And obviously, I know now I'm classed as a key worker, so I'm allowed to go and visit everybody's houses. And because we're in Lapland on the North Pole, we haven't got any COVID there at all. So when I come into the children's houses, they needn't worry. They'll be absolutely fine. And we'll bring the presents into the houses and they'll be fine. So they needn't worry. I will be there because all of the governments in the world have said that I can go because I'm a key worker. And because, as I say, because we haven't got it there, because we're an enclosed community, it made it fine for me to be able to do it,
Yeah, and the good news now, Santa, is that we've got all the vaccines, which is great news. I'm surprised they didn't ask you if you could deliver some of the vaccines, did they?
Well, they did, but I'm very busy with the presents, and I think that most of the governments in the world have got it under control over the deliveries now, because they're delivering enough that they're able to give people the vaccinations. If they delivered any more, they wouldn't have people to give the vaccinations. And you must remember that the children are fairly safe anyway. It doesn't affect children. It's old people like me that it affects. So obviously on my sleigh this year, I'm going to have some hand sanitizer so that when I've been to people's houses, I can just do I am always wearing gloves anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But I will, we will, sanitize our hands so that when we're going into the next house, we're not passing it on. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, brilliant news. Now, I'm always interested. This is right. Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of difficult ones now. So, when you're delivering the presents, if you're in a house, some people have gas fires, so you can't come down the chimney. Some people have, different entrances and things like that to houses. What kids always ask is, how do you manage to get in there and get them presents delivered?
Well, to get in the house generally, if we can't go down the chimney, which more and more we can't, to be honest, over the last few years, people have stopped having coal fires. They're having more now, but they have log burners, which I can't do those chimneys. I'm much too big for those. But I've got a magic key that will let me into the houses anyway, so it's fine. I can get in and do what I have to do.
No one has to worry.
No, definitely don't worry. We will be there. We'll definitely.
It's quite funny, actually, because when I was younger, we had a gas fire and I always wondered how you get the presents in. And we had dogs, and every Christmas Eve, I could always hear the dogs barking. Was that it?
Yeah.
Do you set dogs off sometimes when you're in the house?
Sometimes. Most of them are okay with me, but some dogs, they can be a little bit frightened, obviously.
Yeah.
The dog's protecting the house. So, some people may hear the dog just make a little noise, and that'll be me there. They need to, the children especially, close their eyes and be, because the thing is that the reindeer are quite shy. So they really don't want to be, obviously people are going to see me now and know that I'm not as shy as people think I am, but the reindeer are quite shy. So they just need to close their eyes and go straight back to sleep. And then it will be fine. It'll be okay.
Excellent stuff. Now, the next one. Now, when I was younger also, I remember that sometimes once I went into my parents' bedroom and I was looking for something. I looked under the bed and there was a present there. And I was really surprised because obviously I thought you brought all the presents, but that's not the case, is it? Sometimes parents get them too. Tell us a bit about that, Santa.
Well, parents, sometimes, obviously, some children want things that are very, very expensive and very difficult to get. And of course, some parents can afford to buy those very, very expensive presents, which we wouldn't be able to take them. There are big things that we wouldn't get on the sleigh. So sometimes the parents buy presents as well, and I bring smaller presents to go with them. But the parents will leave the present out for me to leave. But really, if it's a big present and it's an expensive present, then often it will be the parents that have bought it, and they'll send me when the children send their messages, when they send their notes to me, what they would like. The parents might say, "Oh, and he wants, you know,
A PlayStation 5.
yeah, I think they're quite difficult at the moment. But yeah, so if they say he would like one of those, but we'll get one for him because we understand, Santa, that you can't get everything you need, and then. But it may look as though it came from me, but not necessarily. It may come from the parent.
Right. That answers it then. Now, another thing is, another interesting one I've always been interested in. Some people have presents left in different places. Now, when I was younger, we used to leave a sack at the end of the bed and then the presents would come in there. But then some people I know have presents that turn up in the living room. How does that work? Or under the tree?
Well, it often depends where they left the mince pies, where they left the food. Generally, we go where the food is. You know? But, it depends. If they live in an old house and it's got creaky stairs, and I've had to go in through the door with my magic key, I may not go up the creaky stairs because it may wake them up. So we may put them in the living room, or sometimes we go in the bedroom if we think the children are really, really fast asleep. So it just depends on the circumstances, you know. But often it's where the mince pie's being left is where we leave the presents, you know.
Yeah. Now that's another question. How do you eat so many mince pies? Is it because you're burning lots of calories up through the night?
It absolutely is. But I don't. To be fair, the reindeer love mince pies.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so sometimes I'd say, sometimes you may find that I might be only one bite out of the mince pie.
Yeah.
And it may be that I've had a lot in the other houses, so I can't eat anymore. But then sometimes I'll take the whole mince pie and we'll feed them to the reindeer. It just depends on where in the journey we are. You know, we've got a long way to go. And of course, you have to remember that in other countries, they don't necessarily leave me mince pies.
Yeah,
They leave me bread and cheese. And to be fair, some of the cheese is quite smelly, but you know that's nice. I like it. But so it's only in Britain that we really have mince pies. They're very much a British thing. So I get different things in different countries.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, sometimes we leave out carrots for the reindeers or a bit of apple. We tend to leave you a little Bailey's shot because I always think if you're cold, that'll be beautiful.
Oh, that's great.
And a bit of,
the thing is, the carrots, the reindeer love the carrots. They always love a carrot. So that's really good, you know. And carrots are the same all over the world. But of course, some of the foods we eat are different in different countries in the world. Yeah. So that really controls what we do or don't eat.
Have you ever got a bad stomach from something you've eaten?
No. I'm very strong for my age, you know.
You'll eat anything, won't you?
I'll eat absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Now, next question. We've touched on Mrs. Claus. How is she getting on with everything this year? Does she help you? Does she help you do the presents and everything, or is she keeping the house in order?
She keeps the house in order. She helps with the presents. She keeps the books really on where we've got to go. And you know, my book here has got writing in, but actually it's Mrs. Claus that does it. And of course, nowadays with the internet, you can send messages to me via email. She controls the elves that do that. The younger elves know how to do that. I don't know how to do that, but they know how to do it. So she takes control of lots of things really.
She does the PR. She does the PR and marketing.
Absolutely, yeah. So, you know, really, I'm just the figurehead, and I just delegate to everybody else. You know, don't tell, by the way. You know, because they think I'm working all the time. But
okay. No problem, Santa. Your secret is safe for me. Now, that's a good point, actually, Santa. This year has been, I don't know, you must have heard of Amazon, the place that delivers a lot of packages. Do you worry that you'll ever go out of business because of Amazon and Amazon Prime? I mean, it's crazy this year.
Well, you know, we've talked about it, but in actual fact, sometimes Amazon are late.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, I'm always there on Christmas Eve. So, you know, Amazon have got a long way to go to get their logistics as good as mine. That's all I'm saying.
And also, your packaging, you know, is always in beautiful paper, always looks good and exciting. Theirs is just in boring boxes with rubbish.
With a tick, it has a tick thing on, doesn't it? I think it has
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. Oh no, we'll never do that. That's not, we as, and of course with Amazon you have to pay for them. Whereas a lot of my, the gifts, unless the parents have bought them, we're bringing them as a gift. So, but yeah.
And what are you getting Mrs. Claus for Christmas this year?
I wonder if she's going to be watching this.
No, she won't. You can tell us.
Well, she's a bit of a fan of a box set,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
she likes a box set. And also, obviously, I might buy her some furry boots. I think they're called Uggs. I'm not sure. I'm going to look into that.
Boots.
But yeah, I think I might buy her some boots.
I could send you a link, Santa, where you can get a good deal on them.
That's really good because, some boots or a box set we could send, Downton Abbey or those sort of things.
Bit of Downton.
Yeah, well, she makes me watch them sometimes as well. But to be honest, I usually fall asleep.
Yeah. What sort of films do you watch? What do you think of these Christmas films that come out over Christmas?
Well, I think some of them are great. I think some are really, really good, and some of them aren't so good. I think some of them don't depict me as I am, and others do it really, really well. There are some great films that have come out over Christmas. Some great films.
What's one of your favourites, Santa?
Well, I like Santa Claus the movie.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Which is a moderner one, but there are old ones that I liked as well. There are lots of old films.
A Wonderful Life.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit sad in places, but it's a great film. There are a lot of films that I like. I can't remember so many. I've been depicted in so many films. Probably more than Billy the Kid or any of those characters.
Jesus.
Yeah.
More than Jesus.
Yeah. So but we like to watch the TV sometimes.
Oh, brilliant.
Usually we're really, really busy. It's very busy for us all year.
Definitely. Now, if some children are watching and they worry that they've been on the naughty list this year, how does that work, Santa?
Well, they've still got time to be good. And even if they're good just up to Christmas, then I'll know and we'll bring them some presents. And, I think the trouble is with the naughty list, I sort of look at children and I think most of them don't plan to be naughty.
Yeah.
It's more mischief than naughty. Naughty is when you do it on purpose. Yeah. But actually, when you do something that's wrong, that you really didn't know it was wrong, that's a different thing. So I call that mischief. So generally speaking, we'll still bring them presents because we know really they're not actually being naughty. Even though mummies and daddies and parents tell them they're naughty, it's not naughty, it's just mischief, Yeah. So they'll be fine. Well, as with you, I've checked the book, you got the bike event, even though you were so naughty, it was untrue.
All right, Santa, all right.
Oh, it's you did a lot of naughty things,
I think you've got the wrong name on that book, Santa. You need to check that.
Well, I'll check later, but I think I'm right.
Okay. Now, and I think a big message for children as well, if they've been naughty or done something that's slightly wrong, the main thing is you learn from it, isn't it? That, your parents will tell you off and say, right, don't, and you think, right, okay, I won't do that again. And you learn from your mistakes, which is, as you get older, which is one of the biggest lessons you can take through life, isn't it?
That absolutely the lesson in life. If you make a mistake, which everybody does, we're all human beings, you make that mistake, learn from that mistake and don't do it again. If you keep on doing it, you're going to just be naughtier and naughtier, and that's not really a good thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. Now, here's a question for you. What's the best bit of advice you've ever been given, Santa?
Well, there's lots of bits of advice, but I think to work hard was a good one. To be good is a good one. I think and to be nice to people, to be kind to people is a really important thing. So, and I think most children know that anyway, you know, but that's good advice, is to think about other people and how what you say to them makes them feel. So don't
Yeah.
make people feel bad, make them feel good, you know. So say nice things, really, you know.
Yeah, because we don't know how other people are feeling, and it's been a funny year. So some people will be feeling quite down. So I think, like you say, if you can make someone happy just
Yeah.
by saying something, it doesn't cost anything, does it? It
No.
makes a massive
You
difference.
know, if you know, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything. And I think it's that's sort of a little bit of a mantra to live your life by in lots of ways. And as you say, you don't know what's happened to somebody else. Something horrible may have happened to them, and they're not necessarily being naughty and horrible, but they just feel really bad. So if you say something, it might make them feel better. That's what if I was telling children anything, that's the thing. Say something nice to people and be nice to people.
Brilliant bit of advice there, Santa. Now, the next one, who inspires you and why, Santa? Is there someone you look up to, or is there someone that, you know, you think, wow, they're a pretty special person?
Well, you know, there are people out there that I look up to. I don't really want to say who they are because it might make them a bit big-headed, you know.
Apart from me.
Well, you know, but yeah, there's lots of people that you look at and you think, well, you're a really nice person. You're, you know, you're a great role model, and that's what we should all aspire to be. Really, that's what we should do in our lives.
Definitely, definitely. Now, I always ask my guests a favourite, so it can be a book or a food or a film, but just something that you really enjoy and that maybe we could, you know, if you say a film, we could watch it so it's accessible by anyone. Have you thought about a favourite?
No, well, obviously, food-wise, I like mince pie.
Food, I knew it'd
I
be
like
food.
cheese. Yeah. Yeah, I like cheese, which is yeah. Film-wise, oh, there are so many films. I like old cowboy films.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah, well, because obviously I remember first films. The very first film we're talking on it was called The Jazz Singer, but it's a little bit politically incorrect now, so you know, nobody watches it anymore. But there were a lot of really great films made, really just after 1945. There were a lot when the film industry really started to take off. So so many great films were made.
So you said you like westerns. Who was your favourite western actor? John Wayne?
Oh, John Wayne, yeah.
The Searchers is a great film, isn't it?
It's a great film, and The Shootist was a great film. True Grit was a great film. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! And any music that you listen to in your sleigh when you're flying through? Can you wear headphones, or do you have any music going on?
Well, we have had music in the past, but generally now I don't have music because I need to hear what's going on around me, obviously. So we don't have music so much now, but I've had all sorts of music. I like a lot of classical music, but I like modern music as well. You know, there's some great music through the 1960s, 70s, 80s, right up to today. There's some great music made, and it's changed so much. You know, going back 30, 40 years ago, I was giving people records, LP records, and the children today don't even know what it is. But nowadays, they download a lot of music, I think. So I don't seem to deliver so many CDs and things. So I think the world's changing again. So maybe we won't be delivering so much music in the future. We'll have to see.
Yeah. I'd tell you an interesting fact, which I didn't realise. We haven't had a good Christmas song since 1994, which was, I always get a name wrong, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people can't come up with brilliant Christmas songs anymore?
I really don't know. You know, I mean, I think I saw, it was never ever number one in the charts, was it? But I think it is going to be this next week. Which is an incredible thing. You see, I look back and I think that there were a group, if you look it up, called Wizard, that did I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day, and he dressed up as me and it looked really good. And I quite liked that one. I thought that was quite a good one because it was a happy, jolly song, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Perhaps at some point on your radio show you could play it and people could listen to it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this time of year, that's all you listen. That's all you hear. But they are great songs, you know, and you do get it, and you remember Christmas, and they're just great. It's just the last 20 odd years, we just don't seem to be able to, you know.
No.
Now,
well, I think that the world's changed with music, and it's much more based on computers and things. So it's not so much a gut feeling of just sitting down and writing a song. You know, it's much more technical. You know,
I'll tell you one thing I'm glad you don't really deliver anymore, and that's recorders, Santa. Because I remember when I was a kid, my sister had a recorder, and I swear to God, I could have snapped that recorder because it sounded like a dying cat. You don't tell me you don't deliver recorders anymore.
Very, very rarely we deliver a recorder now. And to be fair, in the right hands, it doesn't sound like a dying cat. Yeah, you have to. You know, it depends on who's playing it, you know?
Yeah.
Tell you what we deliver now, are lots of ukuleles.
Oh, yeah.
We've delivered, the last few years, a lot of ukuleles. And actually, you're saying about what music do I like? We watched, because I was interested, they're called the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain. Who are, if absolutely brilliant to watch, playing the ukuleles. So if anybody out there gets a ukulele for Christmas, you watch the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain, and they play pop music, but on ukuleles.
Wow,
They're really good. We like those. We in fact, Mrs. Claus and I sometimes dance a little bit to those.
Yeah, I do like the well. My I think they're great for kids. My daughter's got one because they're a little bit easier than a guitar, and it's a great sort of instrument to start off on, isn't it?
Yeah. And to play music is a wonderful thing. Music, you know, music's it's great. You know, I think that everybody should listen to music. Because it's great, and you think that because, of course, you play it on your radio program, so you want people to listen. Otherwise, they'll go, "Oh no, not music."
Well, I love music that you can listen to music and it can give you a different state of mind depending on where you were at the time, you know. And so it is a great thing.
Yeah, and it makes you remember things from the past. You know, you know, you hear a song and it makes you think of something that made you happy. Or whatever, it's really good, yeah.
Now, sports-wise, do you have a favourite sports, Santa? Because I always thought I heard on the grapevine that you had a favourite sport. Is that correct?
Well, some of the sports I like, people wouldn't even know a lot about. I mean, obviously, because we've got a lot of snow, you know, we do a lot of cross-country skiing.
Oh.
You know? And they do, again, it's something your children or your listeners could look out for. They do what they call telemark turns, which are really quite clever. It's quite impressive to watch, you know.
Yeah.
But sport, we watch a little bit of football now and again. You know, we watch ice hockey, which we quite like. But we're not. Yeah, we watch sport, but all sorts of sports. It just depends on what's you know, to see at the time.
Yeah, you said football. Is there any football teams over here in England that you like?
Well, I think that Accrington Stanley are a really good thing, but that's just me. You know, I'm sure there are people that would disagree, but you know, that would like Manchester United or Liverpool.
No. Oh, Liverpool.
But you know, really, you need to look at the lower teams where the skilled players are really skillful. And they don't, you know, they're not falling over at every moment and being great actors instead of great sportsmen.
Oh, you know your stuff, Santa. You know your stuff, don't you?
Hey, controversial now.
Yeah. Now, do you have, talking of sports, do you have any hobbies other than making, I suppose you're that busy, but do you manage to do any other hobbies, Santa?
No, we sometimes play board games. We like playing Scrabble, but really we like playing Monopoly as well. We quite like board games. Cluedo, we like to play. But they're all old games now. We sometimes have a little go at the computer games, but I'm no good at those. The elves, I can't do them. You know, they'll say, "Oh, come and look at this, Santa," but I can't do it. You know, it's very. And I know this year, I think there are a lot of children who go want like virtual reality headsets.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I've seen a lot of letters with those on when I've been and looked at the letters. But they're an incredible thing, but they're very, very. I found it very difficult to use because when I tried one, I was lost. I was looking around. It was just incredible.
Yeah. You know? Well, I tried one because my father-in-law he had one and all the games and everything, so I gave it a go. And when I first did it, I thought it was brilliant. But then I did. So we were doing different games, and then I did a game that was an action game. And I was running around killing aliens. But the problem with virtual reality, some people, it don't suit me because it just made me feel sick because my mind is saying I'm running and diving, but my you know, center of gravity is saying you're actually standing still. And my mind couldn't connect with my body, and I was just like, "Oh, I went pale."
But you know, but the mind is an incredible thing because the one that I tried. Oh dear, that's one of the elves. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Oh no, I can't talk to you in a minute, elf. I'm sorry about this. I'm just busy at the moment. Yeah, that's so I do apologise for that.
That's fine. Well, I know they're very strict. They said to me, you know, you can't go longer than an hour because Santa is that busy. So
we're really busy at the moment. But, you know, interestingly, I was saying about the virtual reality game. Elves, I told you, no. No. We're not talking today. Just excuse me just a moment. Right. So I do apologise for that. So, yeah, the virtual reality, how the mind plays tricks, and as you say about feeling sick, because the one I tried, you held your hand out and I had a butterfly come and land on my hand.
All right.
And when it flew away, I felt the wind of it on my face.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't, but my brain thought that as this butterfly flew, they're incredible things. So if any children out there are getting a virtual reality game, I think they're very, very lucky because I think it's really good, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And talking of presents, Santa, do you get a present at Christmas?
No, I don't. I don't really need presents. The greatest present I get is seeing children's faces on Christmas Day when they get their presents. So no, not really. We just, after Christmas, we have a nice little rest and then we start working again, you know.
Do you have like a Christmas dinner or anything like that?
Well, because obviously, you know, we start off on one side of the world and go round the world, then really Christmas Day for us, we're still working because when we're in New Zealand and it's night time, you know, as we get round. So not really, but afterwards we have special meals and we all sit and have a meal and we talk about what we've done and how it's gone, you know.
Oh, I bet that's nice. Now, I suppose the final question, which is after everything that's happened this year, what do you think children and adults can take from everything that's happened?
Well, it's been a very strange year. I think obviously washing our hands is very important, it would appear. And it just makes us all realise that we have to, you know, wash our hands, but we mustn't be too frightened because we've got the vaccination now. So when the vaccination's there, hopefully it won't be long before the world gets back to normal and we'll all be able to carry on as we did before. But we just have to be patient and do as we're told at the moment. And all over the world, the governments are telling people what they should or shouldn't do, you know? So I think that's the most important thing.
Oh, brilliant. Well, look, Santa, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know you've got hardly any time because your phone keeps ringing and I know how busy you are. So it's an absolute pleasure that you've let me talk to you this evening. And I really look forward to seeing you not too soon. Hopefully you'll leave me something.
Well, I'm checking the book again just to see whether now that you're 21 years old, you're still behaving.
Yeah. Don't check the book. You don't need to check the book, Santa. I've been really good.
Are you sure? Well, I think I'm going to check the book.
That book
your
needs
mouth
spinning.
says it being good, but your eyes tell me different.
But yeah, thanks ever so much for coming on, Santa. Make sure you don't work too hard, because I know, you make sure you don't work too hard and look after yourself. All
the children out there, remember, you go to bed early and you go straight to sleep, and I shall see you on Christmas Eve, but you won't see me. Okay?
Definitely. Well, look, thanks ever so much, Santa. God bless. Yeah. And hopefully I'll speak to you next year. Take care.
Yeah, we'll Bye. Bye.
So that's it. Massive thanks again to Santa Claus for joining me today, and also to you for listening or watching. Make sure you follow the podcast, because coming up over the next few months are some amazing interviews. The podcast streaming on all the usual platforms, iTunes and Spotify. Please leave a rating on there and subscribe. It's important. To keep up to date, follow Facebook, which is My Way of Thinking Podcast, and also Twitter, which is My Way of Thinking, with a 3 on the end instead of a G. Long story. And we're also on Instagram now as well, which is MWOT Podcast. And every week I put the whole conversation, like I say, on YouTube. So if you have been watching, if you want to look at any more of the podcast, it's My Way of Thinking Podcast. And finally, if you want to get in touch, or you think you might be a great guest, or you know someone who might be a great guest, I know we've had Santa Claus. I know you can't hit those heights. But trust me, we have had some amazing guests on. So if you do want to get in touch, then email me. It's mawotpodcast@aol.com. I hope you enjoyed this. I can't wait. It's really got me excited for Christmas. So I hope it's got all the kids out there excited as well. Great to speak to the big man. So until next time, God bless. Have a great Christmas and New Year if we don't speak to you before. Take care. I'll see you soon.
Bye.